Welcome to a good enough summary of Metal Gear. Unlike a certain other somewhat convoluted series, I've actually played most of these games and have an unfortunate percentage of my brain dedicated to understanding which one of these dudes called Snake are the same guy and which ones are actually different people. After replaying them all on my stream, which took me several years, I sat down a bunch of my friends and explained the plot to them for 7 hours.
It's only gonna get worse from here.
And now I'm gonna break it down for you in a fraction of the time, eventually. This video is only gonna cover the first 2 games in the series, with more videos on the way covering the rest. So if you wanna know when those drop, you know you gotta hit that there subscribe button and other button and yell at me on other website. Drop by my Twitch sometime and tell me I'm slow at making videos. I will cry. If you're already a Metal Gear fan, welcome. Have a seat. A lot of this is gonna be intentionally wrong, but I mean, I'm condensing hour-long monologues into 3 or 4 words. I'm just gonna point to the title of the video. Okay, cool, thanks. Mwah. Also, I'm breaking down the games in release order, not fictional chronological order, and we're just talking about the main canon. Sorry, Ghost Babel and Rising Revengeance fans. For everyone else, hi, welcome to Metal Gear. We got really, really big robots called Metal Gears and really, really tiny robots called nanomachines. And also magic is real, but only sometimes. All right, that's enough preamble. Turn off your brain and hop into your bipedal mech. It's time for Metal Gear. Yeah! Metal Gear. The year is 1995. This place called Outer Heaven goes, we got nukes and a big scary flag with a cool skull. Take us super seriously. The United States goes, we gotta take this seriously, and calls up their elite special forces unit called Foxhound that's got this logo with a wacky cartoon fox, and I mean, wow, the vibe is just great here. Foxhound sends their top agent, Gray Fox, to investigate Outer Heaven, but they immediately lose contact with him. Oh no. His final message consists of only 2 words. Metal Gear. Everyone else is out waiting in line to see Toy Story, so Foxhound dispatches their newest agent, Solid Snake. Got it. They drop him in Outer Heaven with a mouthful of cigarettes and like a whole lot of gumption. Foxhound's leader, Big Boss, calls Snake on the radio and he says, hey Snake, it's me, Big Boss. I'm the big and I'm the boss. You have 2 objectives. 1, find Gray Fox, and 2, what the heck's a Metal Gear? Okay, go have fun. Thanks, boss. Big Boss. Wait, how big we talking? So Snake sneaks into Outer Heaven and tiptoes past guards and hides in a cardboard box and goes hee 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 until he trips and hits a wall and oh my gosh, Gray Fox! Good job, rookie! Metal Gear is a tank with legs, and once it's complete it'll be able to launch a nuke from anywhere. A tank with legs? This will not stand. Find its creator, Dr. Madnar. He'll know how to destroy it. I bet if I blow up the leg. Only Dr. Madnar knows how to destroy it. So Snake ventures back into the base and stumbles into a bunch of bosses, including Shotmaker. Yarg. He shoots at Snake with a gun. Machine Gun Kid. He has a machine gun. Fire Trooper, he's got a flamethrower, and Bloody Brad, twin cybernetic androids, and Dirty Duck, leader of... Snake also blows up a helicopter and a tank, and Big Boss calls and says, this is supposed to be a stealth mission? And Snake goes, oh, that must be Dr. Madnar. And there's a scientist going, help me, Snake, come over here, yes? Over here? Yeah, I mean, sure, of course I'm gonna come closer. But then he goes, ho, 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 I have tricked you. Die, Foxhounder! As a trapdoor opens up beneath his feet and he falls to his death. But the pit isn't all that wide, so Snake just kinda scooches around it, and hey look, it's Dr. Madnar. He goes, I'm Dr. Madnar. Well done rescuing me, Snake. I'll tell you how to destroy Metal Gear, but first you have to save my daughter, Ellen. She's back in that warehouse from like 3 hours ago. So Snake goes, and trudges past all the same guards and hides in a box and goes hee hee hee, and finds Ellen. And she goes, thanks for rescuing me. Wow, you're cute. And Snake goes, love has no place on the battlefield. My dad was forced to make Metal Gear by the big boss of this place. Okay, bye. And Snake goes, Big Boss? And Big Boss calls and says, hey Snake, it's me, Big Boss. I have intel for you, Snake. Keys can unlock doors. And Snake goes, thank you, boss. That's a good intel. He returns to Dr. Madnar, who says, I'm Dr. Madnar. Thank you for rescuing my daughter, Ellen. I'll tell you the secret to destroying Metal Gear. Lean in close. The secret is the legs. They're thinly armored. Blow them up. But why are you staring at me like? So Snake somersaults through the rest of the base and approaches Metal Gear's hangar. But before he can enter, he gets a call from Big Boss, who goes, you did it, Snake. Wow, hooray, good job. Mission over. You can turn around and come home now. We made you a cake. But Snake ignores him and walks in, and there's Metal Gear. And it's standing there, all menacingly, and doesn't do anything because it isn't operational yet. So Snake slaps some C4 onto the legs and blows it up. Hooray! But because this is a video game from the 80s, that activates the base's self-destruct sequence. Oh no! Snake splootin' scrootin' magootin' out of the base when he stopped by. Big Boss, what are you doing here? Yes, it is I, Commander of Foxhound and Boss of Outer Heaven. You mean Big Boss? Yes, correct. I gave you this mission because you were just a rookie. You weren't supposed to make it this far, and now wait, what are you? And Snake blows him up because that countdown timer isn't stopping, old man. Blargle, says Big Boss, and he explodes. Snake climbs a ladder, but it's actually the wrong ladder, so he goes back down and climbs up a second ladder, but that ladder's also the wrong ladder, so he climbs up to the third ladder, and that's actually the correct ladder. He makes it out in time just as Outer Heaven explodes. Hooray! Mission complete. Metal Gear 2: Solid Snake. 4 years later, the year is 1999. There's this scientist named Dr. Kio Marv who's jamming out to the radio.
Living la vida loca.
When he accidentally creates a really potent biofuel which he calls Oilix. On his way to a demonstration, he's kidnapped and taken to Zanzibar land, a military state that's been stockpiling weapons recently. This is bad. The new head of Foxhound, Colonel Campbell, calls up Snake and says, "This is bad, Snake. Get in there and stop them. You can count on me, Colonel. I'll do my best." He eats a pack of cigarettes and climbs into the mountain fortress of Zanzibar land. The Colonel calls him and says, "Let me introduce you to your support team, Snake. You remember your old drill sergeant, Master Miller? Hey, Snake, like my sunglasses? You can hear them over the radio." "Oh my god, Master Miller, hi!" "And this is Johan Jakobsen. He's a zoologist." "It's very good to meet you, Snake. Did you know snakes like food?" "No, I did not." Then his radio goes beatly deep and he goes, "How'd you get this number?" And this lady goes, "I'm Holly White. I'm a journalist and I've been undercover here for a month. Let me help you." And Snake goes, "Are you tall? You sound tall." And she goes, "What?" But just then Snake walks into a door and goes, "Ow." But then, hey look, it's Dr. Marv. He goes, "I have tricked you," and in a puff of smoke reveals himself to be a ninja. "I am Black Ninja from NASA." And Snake goes, "What, really?" And I go, "Yes, really, that's what he says." Snake blows him up and he goes, "I'm actually Kyle from Outer Heaven." And Snake goes, "No, Kyle, why?" And yeah, a bunch of Metal Gear 1 involved saving hostages and he was one of them. It's fine. "The leader of Zanzibar land is like super cool." And he explodes. "Kyle, no, you were so important." Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Then Snake ventures through the Lost Woods for a while and stumbles upon Dr. Madnar? He says, "I'm Dr. Madnar. I was kidnapped with Dr. Marv. The leader of Zanzibar land, Big Boss, is making me work on Metal Gear D. It's super big and super cool. By the way, my daughter Ellen says she misses you and won't marry any other man. Oh, and also the D stands for, now this is funny, Snake." Snake? But Snake is already running through warehouses and blowing up helicopters. "Big Boss is alive?" Beatly deep, it's Holly. "I've been captured. Wait." Snake rescues her and he goes, "I knew you were tall." And she goes, "There's a carrier pigeon on the roof with a clue." And Snake says, "Yes, of course." He finds the pigeon and goes, "Now what do I do?" So he calls animal expert Johan, who says, "Pigeons like peas. Over and out." Alright. So Snake puts a bag of peas on his head and grabs the pigeon, and it has a note tied to its leg that says, "We so high." Snake, sometimes it helps to look at things from a different perspective. Oh, it's an upside down radio frequency. Oh, of course, that's a good puzzle, Snake. I see. 140.5. Snake calls it and...
Halo, kdo tam je? Jak jste našli tuhle frekvenci? Našel jste oba s vzkazem. Můžete mi pomoct? Mluvíte česky?
I don't know what you're saying. I'm Dr. Madnar. By the way, Marv can only speak Czech and Slovak. He's also very shy. Find Gustava Hefner. She evaded capture and is now disguised as an enemy soldier, which means there's simply no way to... Wait, I know! Ambush her in the women's bathroom. This is a good and normal idea I just had. Isn't that kind of a bad idea? And so Snake hides in a bucket in the women's bathroom and hops out when a guard enters, and look, it's Gustava. She goes, Jesus Christ, what are you? And Snake goes, hey, you won figure skating at the 1988 Winter Olympics, didn't you? And Gustava says, that's an odd thing to say. And Snake says, I'd never forget a perfect triple sauerkraut. Excuse me.
Je tam někdo?
Wait, Dr. Marv?
Gustavo, jsi to ty?
Yes.
Drží mi to v celé na základě na severu. Pomozte mi, prosím.
He says he's being held in a detention center to the north. Let's take this elevator down to the sewers. It's a shortcut. Snake asks, why is there a sewer elevator in the women's restroom? But he doesn't get an answer, and to this day, we just don't know. Girl's secret. They're heading through the sewers when they find Dr. Madnar. He says, I'm Dr. Madnar. Thanks for rescuing me. Let's mosey. Oh, all right, sure. They reach a rickety suspension bridge, and Dr. Madnar says, I'm old, let me go first. And he heads across. Gustava follows when suddenly, kaboosh! A missile flies in and blows up the bridge and Gustava. Snake goes, Gustava, no! And she goes, you were right. I was the figure skating gold medalist. I tried to defect to the US with my fiance, Frank Hunter. But we were caught, and I was stripped of my medals. No, you can't die, you're too hot. That's why I had to leave the ice. And she dies. Meanwhile, Dr. Madnar is getting dragged away by some guards, and a big old robot comes stomping into partial view. It's Metal Gear D. Snake, it's me, Gray Fox. Gray Fox, what are you doing up there? It's dangerous. We used to be bros, so I'll let you live. Now skedaddle. And he stomps away. Snake's all, Gustava, no. How am I gonna get across this ravine? Beely Deep, oh right, other tall girl. Hey Holly, what's up? I remember seeing a hang glider at Thanksgiving. This game takes place on Christmas Eve, by the way. And I guess they celebrate American Thanksgiving for some reason. That's a good intel. Thanks, Holly. Snake hang glides to the northern half of the base and bumps into a bunch of bosses, such as Running Man, who says, hup, 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 I'm the fastest mercenary alive, and then trips on a landmine, turns into a cookie, and explodes. Red Blaster, who hides on the rafters dropping grenades until one of them gets stuck. Oh, no. The Four Horsemen, who ambush Snake in an elevator, and Jungle Evil, who drops a keycard in tall grass, and then Night Fright, he's invisible, and eventually Snake winds up in a warehouse and finds an egg protected by lasers. He grabs it and calls animal expert Johan, who says, I can't identify eggs over the phone, which, you know what, fair. The egg hatches into a fully grown owl that flies over a guard and goes hoot hoot, and the guard goes nighttime and shuts off the force field, letting Snake into the detention center. This game is like really good. He finds Dr. Madnar, and at last, Dr. Marv. Dr. Madnar says, I'm Dr. Madnar, and Dr. Marv says nothing because he's dead. Dr. Madnar says, don't worry, Dr. Marv loved video games and hid the Oilix plans inside an MSX cartridge. MSX? The legendary worldwide computer that Metal Gear 1 and 2 originally released on? That's right. Where's the cartridge? It's in that locker over there. Where's the key? I don't know, I couldn't get it out of him. I mean, hiya! Dr. Madnar attacks Snake, but is defeated when Snake fires a remote-controlled missile into his own back. Blarg, you got me. After Outer Heaven, I just wanted to finish Metal Gear, and I helped Marv get kidnapped. My bad, lol. Snake kicks open the locker, and it's infested with hamsters. Johan calls and says, wow, that sounds like the highly poisonous Zanzibar hamster. Oh, hold up. Pizza guy's here. Ooh, cheese. And Snake goes, cheese, of course, and lures the hamsters out with a nice wheel of Gouda, buying him time to grab the MSX cartridge. This game is really good. On the way out, Madnar stops Snake. You have to stop Metal Gear for my daughter, Ellen. She likes you, you know. The other day she told me that. How do I stop Metal Gear D? I'll tell you. The legs are thinly armored. Blow them up. Wait, what? Again? Why would you? But just then, a trapdoor opens under his feet and drops him right in front of Metal Gear D. Gray Fox goes, Snake, you are my greatest rival in Foxhound, and as much as it pains me to do this, I must. Wait, what are you doing? But Snake has already covered Metal Gear's legs in C4 and it explodes. Gray Fox is sent flying but manages to grab the cartridge from Snake. Yoink! Snake's clothes burn away and then they engage in an epic shirtless battle to the death with punching and kicking and maybe a little bit of smooching. At last, Fox is defeated and Snake goes, "Dude, what the heck? I thought we were cool." And Fox goes, "Big Boss saved my life. And I hate war, but it's all I know, you know?" And Snake goes, hold on, I'm getting a call. And it's the Colonel who says, "Oh, by the way, Gray Fox's real name is Frank Jaeger. Jaeger is German for hunter." Frank, hunter? You were Gustava's fiance. And he goes, "Yeah, bro, was that her on the bridge? Toots." And he explodes, dropping the MSX cartridge. But just then, Snake hears some ominous giggling in the distance. It's Big Boss! "Didn't I blow you up back in outer heaven? You and I, we belong on the battlefield. I'm creating a world where soldiers always have a home. Also, I'm your dad." And Snake goes, "That's cool," as he MacGyvers together a flamethrower and sets Big Boss on fire. "No, wait, what the heck? Snake manages to escape the fortress with Holly and they fly off into the sunrise. Merry Christmas. They meet back up with the Colonel who says, "So, is this MSX cartridge the real deal?" And Snake says, "Let's put it into this MSX that we have right here." And they boot it up, and the Colonel goes, "Okay, phew, that's definitely it. Yeah, look, Kio Marv even signed it." What the heck are you two even talking about? This is the MSX boot up screen, and if you read this backwards, it says Kio Marv. And yes, I hate it too. Campbell goes, "The world is saved. Good work, Snake." Snake? But he's already gone. Mission complete. How you doing so far? Oh, that bad, huh? Well, brace yourself because next up is when the series transitioned from pixel art into 3D. And things only get worse from here. So hit the YouTube buttons, yell at me on Twitch that I'm slow at making videos, and see you next time.